Hi, it's Kamon Reynolds. Welcome back to the new follow along. We just fed them a gallon last week. I'm very interested to see how much they have drawn out, if they backfilled any space. Also, I'm going to throw some diatomaceous earth right here in this bottom tray. And this is a special bottom board. I like it because it has several uses. It also comes with a pollen trap, and we're not really in a good position to do that right now. Young nukes and packages definitely don't need you pulling pollen away from them, but that is an option later on. But this is really nice, and it doesn't take a lot of this diatomaceous earth. Some people really pile it in there. This will cut up any small hive beetles or small hive beetle larvae that fall down through the screen bottom board. And I'll leave a link down below if you don't know what diatomaceous earth is. And this has a screen bottom board in it too, so if it gets really hot, we'll just pull this out. But even when you're not feeding anything at all, small hive beetles are in your hive in the south, and occasionally they take over a cell of bee bread and they will lay some eggs in there, and you'll get 10 to 30 young larvae from the small hive beetles, and the bees just drop them out the entrance. The problem is within a handful of weeks, they get into that ground, they pupate, and then they emerge as beetles, fly back into your hives. However, with this screen bottom board and tray system, they're going to fall down in here and they're just going to cut up and die. Awesome. So I'm just going to slide this in really fast, and there we go. Now I've got my bee suit on today because it has just rained and rained and rained, and typically that makes the bees more ill when there's a lot of fronts moving in or out and all that kind of stuff. And check one more thing, check all this rainwater on these wax dip boxes and how it's just kind of beat up and there's no swelling of the wood. That's really nice. So I'm going to attempt to do this just like this, 2-to-1 by the way. Natalie Summers and Don Summers made this shirt for myself. Natalie's 1-to-1 and Randy McCaffrey's full strength 3-to-1. And so it's a fun shirt. I really like wearing it. I'm going to try to do this with just the veil on today, and we'll see if I get stung or not. Don't do this at home. All right, so I want to see a lot of comb drawn. We're just going to do a full inspection. Let's ditch the gloves too. Let's see what we can get away with. And I get stung a lot, so I'm used to it. So this still feels like it has about a quart in it. Oh, and there's already one bee looking at me funny. I tell you what, I have some pollen patty over here too. I'm heavily considering feeding some pollen patty. We've just had so much rain. It's made it to where the bees can't fly. Sugar syrup does not create bees. It helps. You got to have pollens, protein, fats, all those minerals that are in there. That really helps out a lot. Okay, there's the hive tool. These have deep pockets on them. That's why I like these pants. So someone asked a question in the last video, where was the link to this hive tool? And we had done a video in the past, but that was like 3 years ago. So I'm going to leave a link down below in the comments where the playlist is going to be for this series too. And that's where the hive tool is going to be at as well. Woo! Okay. Well, speaking of getting stung, that one got me deep. However, it had landed on my bellows and I had pinched it. Nah, it's all good. So, all seriousness, one of the best things to do is to smoke it really good. And, you know, always wear the gear that's going to make you comfortable. So I'm not seeing a lot of drawn comb up in here actually. So let's go for an outer frame. We have foundations here. And yeah, these bees are just like, what are you doing, Kamon? What are you doing? So 3 foundations, and they're drawing this one. That's all food right there, and it's a good looking comb. They're starting on this side a little bit. And this is the frame that we pulled up, and that's really nice and capped. So that's a lot of bees on the way. You can see once again where they fattened it out over here where they had some food, and that'll make it to where the adjacent foundation won't draw it out very much. once they commit to drawing on this side and this side really well, as they have, you look down into here and you see, yeah, they've really committed to both of these. We could break bee space just a little bit. We can either one, trim that off, but I don't really want to do that right now. Or when we put these back together, instead of going all the way on these end bars wood to wood, just wherever there's a fat spot like that right there, if we don't want to trim it, we can pull this just slightly away from it, about 1/8 of an inch, 1/16, and that'll make it to where they'll finish drawing out these thinner parts on the edges where they've fattened those out. Or you can just trim them up. Some people, once they get about 9 of these drawn, just pull one out and they space them all out to 9, and that works too. So they haven't drawn these 4 foundations here, and they have not drawn 3 of these, so they haven't even drawn 2 more frames up top. I find that interesting. So we are going to go down and see what is going on, because I don't think that they're necessarily behind, but all this rain has not helped at all. And, oh, by the way, here's the queen right now. Here's how you get stung right here. There's a bee just chilling out right there, and just grab that, and boy, that just feels wonderful. I'm sure that's what the bee says too. So it's always best to take it slow and easy. And I need to put this down, but there's like a mud puddle right here. So that looks pretty good. Lots of bees, but let's see if the queen's laying. That's what we're gonna do right now. A full inspection doesn't mean that we pull every frame, but it does mean that we want to see the elephant. And that would be nice to see the queen. So this is just foundations. Wow, yeah, that bee's ticked off. Best to use a bee suit in this type of weather. I knew better, and I did it anyways. Play stupid games, you win stupid prizes. So they're drawing that out. There's some food in there. There's a cup right there. And there's nothing in it. And you can see where they have not put any food into this at all. So that's already telling me right now I shouldn't be too concerned about the queen not having any laying room. At least that's my initial impression. I saw a small hive beetle. Oh. Dadgum, I hate those small hive beetles. I'll get you later. So we are going to, the queen's not on this one, so I'm going to stick that to the outside. And I already had a couple bees dart at me here in recent moments, and that's primarily because the forager bees are all inside the hive. This really gives us an accurate representation of how strong this colony is, because there are no foragers, or very, very few out in the field. And if there are any stuck in the field, they're not very happy bees right now, that's for sure. See, that one just darted right at my hand. Oh, see that? This bee's all, it just left, but it's all over me. So this is the time where it's like, okay, going to DEFCON 1 or however that works. I could just sit here and take them, but I'm not willing to do that just for your entertainment, okay? I don't enjoy it. After 20-something years of this, I don't like being skewered by bees. Oh, did I just mess the zipper up on this? On camera. Some days things just don't want to work for you guys. Oh no, Laurel, I think my zipper's just fried on me. The zipper's got it against me too. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're just gonna just muscle through this. Laurel probably sabotaged my bee suit for better YouTube footage. Okay. Great pattern right there. We have capped honey up top right here. I want to see bee bread. We have some nice looking young, brand new fuzzy bees right there and there. And then you have some beautiful, handsome, as my son Jimmy would put it, drones. One there, one there. And there's just bunches of nice drones on this frame. So I don't see the queen. There's young larvae on this side. I think they just need a little bit more time. But they're doing a good job of not letting that feed backfill all of this. So we're just gonna keep going. Like I said, there's a cord in there. Okay, perfect example. This is what I mean by backfilling. This isn't heavy backfilling though, but see, spotted nectar or sugar syrup there, there. There's a couple spots here and there. They're putting it in there. That's okay. That's a little bit. But we don't want to see any more than that right there, because bees do love having their food close. See how much bee bread they have down into here? They have it packed around all this brood, and they're going to consume that first. They like having it close, and then they have this capped honey up here. So this is really good. We're going to let them polish off this gallon, which I think has about a quart or so in there. And then I may come back and give them another quart at the end of this week, and then we'll see you in the next video for that. But I'm just not looking at them going, they're fixing to starve on me, but we want to keep them going. I think the delay that we're having is it just takes some time for the colony to expand. We need a couple more frames to emerge out, and not just emerge out. We need those couple of frames to emerge out and those bees get old enough to be wax producers. Young bees are good at cleaning out cells early on, and then eventually into creating worker jellies and jellies for drones, or if they're raising a queen, royal jelly. But they're really not good at making wax until they are of flying age. So we need them to emerge and then get to that point. So now we have some older brood right here. You can kind of tell after a while, it kind of gets drier and more papery looking. And you can see an emerging bee right there, and it's working its way out, and this bee's just stepping on it. Oh, there we go. It's hard being a bee. First thing you get on out, and then a fellow bee just steps on you like you're not even there. And we got some drone brood right here. Wonderful, healthy looking colony. And some people are looking at this comb and going, ooh, that's darker looking. I see this all over Facebook, and it really kind of bothers me a little bit, because it's hard beekeeping. It's a steep learning curve, and I'm not saying that to discourage you, but I'm saying that to encourage you to be proud that this is something difficult that you've undertaken. It's not impossible. Anybody can keep bees, but when you have people online saying that frames like this need to be discarded, it really bothers me, because this frame right here is no more than 3 years old. It's still got a lot of life left in it. And there are people saying that, I saw someone say you need to replace combs every year. Boy, honey needs to be $50 a pound if we're going to replace combs every year. Oh, that bee loves you, Laurel. It's your turn. The other thing is, a lot of people are saying replace them every 3 years, and you can do whatever you want. Stealing my shot. Get out of my camera. Go sting Laurel. Ooh, I just gotta look. I'm gonna be stung later. So that being said, a good comb like this, it can last you 8 years, no problem. If you're in the middle of a cornfield, cotton patch, rice farm, they're spraying all the time, or if you're using synthetic miticides like Apistan, Checkmite, or Apivar, yeah, you'll probably want to change it out quicker, because you're dumping a lot of synthetic miticides or have a lot of chemical presence around your bees. But we've ran combs over 10 years, brood combs, no issues. But we live in the middle of Tennessee. There's not a lot of farming around here. We don't use a lot of synthetics, and these days we don't use any. So it's hard enough getting into bees without having to throw away your investment that early. That's all I'm going to say. Oh, there's the queen right there. Beautiful green dot, really makes her stand out, and she's just over here for a couple reasons. One, she needs a spot to lay, and two, she knows there's some available over here because pheromones. There's pheromones being emitted right now off of this frame as that brood is emerging. She's able to detect that, and she knows that there's available space for her over here to lay. So we're seeing all kinds of wonderful brood. This colony's on the way up. So for future, reference, we want to get this colony to double deep strength, and we want to split this colony. I want to. It's not necessary in the first year, but I want to do that. And then we also are going to have to check for mites. And if you do it right, you can split your bees and you can treat them at the same time. And you can really get an advantage on the mites when you compound those two together. All right, so look at the bottom here. We have all kinds of queen cups. Excuse me, coming through. So this is not something to be concerned about unless they're really elongating those. So that's dry. Dry. It's very normal for a strong colony to have at least a dozen of these things. But it's good to check them every now and then. As new beekeepers, you don't need to be going and tearing through your hives like this every time. And you can see kind of we're gentle about it. We'd be so fast if we weren't doing this video. And it's good to do that occasionally, not every week, but I think at least twice a month, especially in spring, to get in there and to look for food stores, look for everything. This middle brood frame doesn't hardly have any honey on it at all. And so they could use more feed. They're not backfilling. Everything looks good. And for you to be able to see the different stages and to observe what healthy cappings look like, what healthy bees look like, over time, you can just look at things and go, that's what I want to see. And then you'll see discolored cappings and irregular patterns, and you're like, ooh, that's not great. We're just going to check one or two more frames real fast, and then we are going to put this together, and I am going to feed a pollen patty. I am seeing bee bread down in here, and some of you are probably like, oh, pollen patties, small hive beetle magnets. Well, we do it all the time. I'm giving all of my little bitty splits with new queens that I've made pollen patties right now. There's a little bit of a pollen flow, but it's raining. And you're like, there's all kinds of bee bread down in there, and you're absolutely right. But there won't be in a month or so, and I need all the bee power I can get between now and then. Looking good right here. That is awesome. And I'm just going to check one more frame, and then I'm not going to throw a full patty on here. It's going to be a partial, and you might not need it where you're at. My flow's about over here in Tennessee. All right, so this is a heavy frame. We've got bee bread up towards the top. And we got more bee bread on this side. That's good. That stuff is worth more than honey. You can feed sugar syrup, and it is a okay substitute for nectar. Nectar's way better, but bees can survive off of sugar syrups and real pollens like just forever. But if you have no pollen coming in and you have a honey flow, your bees are going to collapse from a lack of proteins and fats and minerals from the pollens. The pollens are very valuable. So they're drawing on that foundation over there. Everything looks pretty good. So we're just going to put this together very carefully. And the bees are just so irritable right now because of this. And some of you are like, this isn't that bad. Well, compared to what they typically are, it is. We're going to smoke them down, get them out of the way so we don't crush any if possible. Part of beekeeping is accidentally crushing some bees, whether you realize it or not. And, you know, a good beekeeper is going to raise hundreds of thousands of bees more than what they ever crush if they do a good job. Especially if we start making some splits. So I've got the diatomaceous earth down in there. You can see down through here, there's a screen bottom, but that little bottom board it really closes it off, and to where there is some ventilation still, but when I don't want there to be a lot, it removes most of it. And I really like having that that diatomaceous earth down there. That bee is fixing to get me. I'm telling you what. Queen's laying good. Bees are building up. They're drawing some combs. There's no craziness going on here. So just more of the same, folks. Keep feeding at this point. If you're in an area that has a lot of good pollens coming in, and maybe your strong honey flow of the year is going, you've got to watch it. If you're up north and you get some nukes or some packages and it's blackberry flow or basswood or whatever is the best for you, clover, and you feed a gallon at the wrong time, you can really backfill or, you know, cause them to maybe think about swarming. These bees aren't thinking about it at all. This is exactly what I want to see. I think by 3 to 4 weeks, this double deep will be completely drawn out, excuse me, and we'll be in good shape. Here towards the end, I just want to show you this Queen Right dial. So this is 2024, so that's why the queen is marked green. And I got this from some of the fellows that were at my Bee Expo, and it's called the Queen Right dial. And right now we have a mated queen, but if we have any issues, we can go, oh, we have a supersedure cell. I saw a virgin queen, which that's always fun. No queen, no cells, and that's always bad. We don't really like that at all. And then, oh, swarm cell, which is always interesting. I won't say it's bad. And of course, for different years and different colors of queens, we have all kinds of different settings on here. So there's a couple other options like feeding and treating and inspection and all kinds of different things. And next action we can write down into here. But right now, I can look at this and I know there's so many colonies right now that I'm either requeening or they're going through a requeen themselves or occasional swarm that happens. So it is go, go, go all the time. Having a little indicator like that can be fun, and I appreciate the guys for sending that to me so I could show that to you all. It looks really well built, so it'll be kind of fun to try that out. Everybody, enjoy your bees. It's a great time of the year. It's magical. I'm going to throw this pollen patty on real quick. I'm going to throw a piece that big, and any small hive beetle larvae, if any, get into this patty and the bees cast them out, they're going to fall down into that diatomaceous earth and toast. No problems right there. And this will help the bees continue to grow even faster. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, leave them below.